Hey guys, Dave Kimbrough here with the Kimbrough Team Remax 4000. It is June the 6th, so that means I must have market stats for the month of May, and that's exactly what I've got. The month of May is always typically one that's really hard to read and can bring a mixed bag of data, largely because it's the end of the school year, graduations. You've got Memorial Day weekend, Memorial Day week. You've got JUCO baseball tournament in town. It's really the gateway to summer. So the month of May is a very busy month for everybody. So the stats can be a little bit hard to read and decipher future trends, but I think there's some stuff worth highlighting here. Right underneath this video, you're going to see a link to our full document of market stats. A lot of great information. If that's the way you're wound, dig in there because there's a lot of good stuff. But the market overview May brought a substantial influx of new inventory. It's up 23% year over year, which is significant. So it has bolstered the inventory levels. Overall transactions were down. That's not atypical for the month of May, but they were down just a little bit, about 5%. At the same time, we definitely saw buyer demand slow. And so it slid us into a retraction phase a little bit earlier than usual, or certainly a little bit earlier than expected. And I think this is largely due to rates remaining higher for longer. It's a common theme. Rates are higher for longer than basically anybody anticipated. Um, you know, Traditionally, we see price increases. The bulk of price increases happen January through June or July. But this year, it looks like the market may have peaked or is in the process of peaking, very close, a bit earlier, and I think mainly due to the inventory levels that are increasing, higher for longer interest rates, and a little bit of a softening buyer pool. The rest of the summer, I expect more inventory to enter the market. Obviously, we'll find out in July when we have the June stats. But this generally will lead, it's supply and demand. Increasing inventory leads to price softening, especially when you have buyer interest slipping. So my bet is we're going to see a little bit of that through the remainder of the summer and into fall, and then I expect us to stabilize out as we get to the back half of 2024. I do expect interest rates to come down the back half of 2024. It's going to be a little bit later than expected. Obviously, I think everybody thought we'd see interest rate help or soften sometime earlier to, early summer at the latest of this year, but just quite didn't happen. But it does seem that some of the inflationary numbers are under control or seemingly under control. So I think we're going to see that, and it's going to be helpful when and if the Fed decides to make their moves. I did read an article, I think it was in Forbes or Market Watch, that I thought was interesting. The average interest rate from 1950 to the year 2000, a 50-year period, the average interest rate was right around 6%. And again, I think that's where we will ultimately get to, somewhere in that 5.5%, 6% range. So a lot of good information from the data from the month of May. Don't take it to the bank, but we're definitely seeing trends nationally being all 50 states now have more inventory at this time in 2024 than they did in 2023. First time in a long time we've seen that. And we're also seeing prices for new listings being less in several states for the first time in a number of years, especially Texas, Florida. They seem to be leading the way. And so that's worth keeping an eye on as an early barometer to what we may see in other parts of the country. But make no mistake about it, our average sale price here in the month of May was higher than it's been for the last 4 months. So it's not necessarily an overall far-reaching trend, but it's something to keep an eye on. There's no doubt about that. So anyway, we'll find out more information. It's always fun because you see what happens as the year progresses and you start to read the tea leaves and see where we're headed. But at any rate, we appreciate you being part of the Kimbrough team. We appreciate you being part of the Kimbrough team family. We thank you for your business. We're appreciative of that. We certainly wouldn't be able to do what we do at the rate we do it without you. So thank you very much. If you have friends or family looking to buy or sell, we'd be happy to take care of them as if we would. They were our own family. We always put our clients' interests ahead of our own. And I think that's why we've been a market leader for darn near 20 years. So again, thank you very much. Next time I talk to you will be after the 4th of July. We'll have June data. So have a great rest of the month of June. Have a safe and wonderful 4th of July. And I look forward to talking to you next month.